to know, what are the statistics of the number of individuals that attract HIV from blood transfusion? They have that broken down probably on the internet, or do you have that also from lifestyle? I don't know if you have any.
I can ask Cortana real quick.
Okay.
Let me ask Cortana to do what she said.
Basically, because the blood supply is tested so stringently now,
Okay.
statistically, in order to get HIV from blood transfusion is like 2%.
Okay, that's,
And they say
it used to be bad before, but okay.
Yeah.
And then what about lifestyle, like the gay lifestyle, or what are the statistics of people that spreading because maybe a woman doesn't know a man is bisexual or down low?
You know what, that is part of the issue, but one of my things is people like to always rely on that. You know, it's those men on the down low. But what I tell women is, it's part of your own responsibility to protect yourself and to know who you're with. And those lines are so blurred nowadays. That's why when I was up there, you didn't hear me say gay people, because it's MSM, they who have sex with men, because I too used to work for the prison department, and not every man that has sex with other men considers himself gay or bisexual.
Well, okay, so not gay, but that lifestyle of thinking they're in prison, that's the only person they can have sex with, and they're not gay, but they just want to get,
It's called gay for the state. Yeah.
What is it called?
It's called gay for the state, meaning while they're incarcerated, they feel it's okay to be with another man because that's who's there with them. And that contributes to, you know, those numbers as well, you know. But to be able to single it out and say it's the LGBT, it's just so hard to define it because people aren't in categories anymore.
So you don't, when you test them, you don't really ask that because it's too personal, or?
We do ask a set of personal questions, but that's just basically to gauge their risk, to see if they're doing things that cause them to be more at risk. And if they are, that's when we start a counseling session on how to reduce that risk. But our focus is not who they sleep with because, you know, the H stands for human. And actually that covers everybody. So we try not to focus so much on.
It's probably more unprotected, I guess you could put a category, whether they do with a man or, you know, if they're gay or they're just doing it because that's all they have, but unprotected. So do you, most of the people you test, you ask them, and of course if they're attracted, they're not protecting, but people who are questioning if they may have it because of being with different people or doing it a lot with, you know, not protecting being with that person.
Right.
Most of the people you test, you ask them that, did you wear protection, or you didn't, is that why you're worried about getting tested? Or, you know, I didn't know what the statistics were of how it was happening.
But you know, also keeping in mind, a large percentage of the people that I test are married.
Wow.
And they're not having multiple partners themselves. So, you know, it covers a wide span.
Okay.
And I'm curious as to in here, who can tell me, other than Patricia and Sister Brooks, who can tell me the ways that HIV is transmitted?
Through a man. The man plants it into a woman.
What does that mean?
I went to the Indianapolis conference and I didn't know that. I thought women spread it, but they initially get it from a man initially somewhere there. It's planted from that man. That's what we said at the conference at the Weston in Indianapolis.
Okay, that's interesting perspective. Okay, yes, sir.
Blood.
Thank you. Because we often say bodily fluids, whereas part of where the myth comes in, because we think if we touch somebody, you sweat, you tears, that is ways, those are ways you can contract it. Absolutely not. It has to be blood to blood contact. It is not airborne. And you talked about for men. That is so cute. I love it. I love it.
Well, they said at the conference, I think it was an NAACP, I don't know. Someone, if it wasn't NAACP, somebody asked me to do the opening prayer. And it was so long ago, but it was at the Weston there. And when I went, I mean, I really learned a lot, and I had no clue that it's planted into the woman.
Okay, so let's. I'm not saying. We all adults in here. I'm sorry. Are we all adults in here?
Yes, ma'am.
If we're not, we'll be growing up.
Okay. So HIV is transmitted through mother-child potential. So that's through breastfeeding typically. Because if the baby happens to bite too hard on the nipple, she can tear the breast, the skin. And again, remember I say, always keep in mind, blood to blood contact. Okay? So mother to child, and it can be done vaginally mother to child, but there's medications that are in place to protect the mother. Again, I used the word earlier, medically compliant. She must be medically compliant in order to reduce that risk of contracting or transmitting that HIV virus to her baby, but that is still a possibility. We talked about intravenous drug use. I was sharing here earlier with my sister that sometimes it is a focus on that is huge. Drug use is huge. It's a reality of culture which we live in, unfortunately. But we also have to think about those social determinants again, because I could have diabetes and not be able to afford syringes. So I may be sharing syringes. So we have to just say syringe usage, which is why there are programs in place to syringe exchange programs are in place to help decrease those numbers. And then for the adult conversation, it is during sex. Can be a man can give it to a woman, and a woman can give it to a man. And there's 3 ways you can give it. Let's have an adult conversation. 3 ways you can give it sexually. Anal, because men and men are not the only one having anal sex. Let's be clear. Men and women are having anal sex too. Vaginally and orally.
Right.
So orally, it could be man to man, woman to woman, which is very, very slim, or it could be woman and man. But any of those ways that you're not protecting yourself, and there are all ways to protect yourself from during sex. In any case, there's ways to protect yourself orally. There's ways to protect yourself vaginally, and of course, we always have condoms as well. So I encourage everyone to just know those are the ways to contract HIV. So I'm not sure what conference you were at. And that's so unfortunate because that's the problem. That is one of the issues that causes this continue to be a perpetuated issue because people are giving out false truths, and then we think that that's the reality. And I'm so glad you shared that openly today because this is a learning environment as well. But those are the ways. So anybody, like you said, it is not just gay people that are contracting HIV, but I would say it is that male-to-male community because they are having anal sex. They are having unprotected sex largely more than other people. And again, I don't use the word down low, but she's right. There are brothers, men who think that, I'm going to use some terms here, because they happen to be on the top giving, that they're not gay. Because they're not, and that comes from the concept of us doing the missionary style, the woman being on the bottom, that whole concept. So they don't consider themselves gay.